It is a privilege for us at Borivali Malayali Samajam to introduce Mr. Suresh Nair, who is an eminent scriptwriter and a former journalist with Times of India. Mr. Suresh Nair has written the scripts of many blockbuster Bollywood movies like Kahani, Namaste London, Bang Bang, Airlift and many more. He also has to his credits the web series like Typewriter on Netflix and Crackdown on Woot. We at BMS take this opportunity to wish him the best for all his future endeavors.
हेलो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स।
जी मैं कुवैत से रंजीत कटियाल बोल रहा हूँ।
जी
मुझे कुवैत में रहे इंडियंस के सिचुएशन के बारे में बात करनी थी।
My husband is missing.
सॉरी दादू, मुझसे गलती हो गई। मुझे आपकी बात माननी चाहिए थी। मुझे आपकी बात माननी चाहिए थी। मुझे आपकी बात माननी चाहिए।
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang bang.
Are you ready to blow? It's a yes or a no. Pull the trigger and go. Are you ready to blow? It's a yes or a no. Pull the trigger and go.
Namaskaram. എൻ്റെ പേര് സുരേഷ് നായർ. I don't know how many of you are familiar with my work. Basically, I'm a scriptwriter in Bollywood. Before that, I was a journalist with Times of India. But കഴിഞ്ഞ 10 കൊല്ലത്തിൽ I have been basically more into writing films than any journalistic activities. മലയാളിയായി ബോളിവുഡിൽ തിരക്കഥ എഴുതുന്ന ഒരാൾ എന്ന നിലയ്ക്ക് എന്നോട് ഒരുപാട് പേര് ചോദിച്ചിരുന്ന ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു തുടക്കത്തിൽ. ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ബീങ് എ മലയാളി ഡു യു ഫേസ് ഡിസ്ക്രിമിനേഷൻ ഇൻ ബോളിവുഡ് എന്ന്. this question used to come largely from friends in Kerala or colleagues within the film industry in Kerala. I'll tell you why the reason those questions come also. But the answer to that question is that no, I have never faced any discrimination, also because I'm as much a part of Bombay, because I was born and brought up in Bombay, as much as I'm a Malayali. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഒരു ഔട്ട്സൈഡർ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് എനിക്കില്ല. I'm not an outsider. I'm considered as much a part of the city. That's one reason. Secondly, in my own experience, Bollywood is a place where you work with different kinds of people. There is no discrimination on basis of where you come from, or what you have done in the past, or what clothes you wear and what language you speak. It doesn't matter, because it's a mini India. Bollywood is a mini India. There are people from Calcutta also. There are people from Punjab also. There are people from all the places in India. I mean, there are everybody. You will find Punjabis, Gujaratis, Bengalis, Malayalis, Telugu speaking people, Kannadigas, you name it, and everybody is there in this industry. So that is never been a criteria. The one criteria I feel is that you need to be able to communicate. Adana ivide ettavum veliya avashyam. You should be able to speak either in English or in Hindi to be able to communicate with people in the industry. Adana one basic requirement. ഇത് രണ്ടും അറിയില്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കുറച്ച് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ് within the film industry, and that is true for everyone. It's not just Malayalis, for anybody. And now the reason I'll tell you why this question used to come up, I also know, is because there's a basic fallacy that South Indians are not welcome in this Hindi film circle and all those stuff. And this is not true, because over the years there have been so many South Indians within the film industry. ഒരുപാട് മലയാളി ടെക്നീഷ്യൻസ് ഉണ്ട്, ബ്രില്യൻറ്റ് ടെക്നീഷ്യൻസ് in post-production studios, in camera department, in editing. They're everywhere. There are not many, as many in maybe in direction and writing yet, but I think that's also changing. I mean, we have had Priyadarshan in the past from Malayalam, വന്ന് ഇവിടെ പടം ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ ഒരാൾ. We also have Raja Menon, who is basically a Bombay guy or a Bangalore guy who has made Airlift. So there are people, there are Malayalis. I think but the perception has been such because ഒരു കാലത്ത് Bollywood was predominantly a North Indian എന്താ പറയുക domain ആയിരുന്നു. Largely because there's a Hindi film audience, and they used to make Hindi films. So there were very few South Indians who were known to be there within the sector. There were South Indians. It was very low profile. I mean, you may not know, or you might know, is the fact that one of the writers who has written some of the biggest Vijayanand films, they are classics like Jewel Thief and Johnny Meranam, was a South Indian called K.A. Narayan. ഞാനിത് കുറേ കാലം ശേഷം അറിഞ്ഞത്. I didn't know at all that it was there was South Indian. So we didn't know about many Malayalis being part of Hindi film industry in the earlier days. We also don't seem to have too many Malayalam remakes over the years. I mean, compared to Tamil or Telugu films, there have been very few Malayalam that I got remade. But if you remember, one of the earliest films to get remade, and which is a big success, was a Malayalam film in 1973 called Chattakari, which was remade in Hindi as Julie. Had great songs by Kishore Kumar and music by Rajesh Roshan. Chattakari was a very successful remake in Hindi in the name of Julie. Even later on, Indranapa Drishyam has been remade in so many languages. But there was a film in, I think, 1986 called Poovinu Pudhiya Poondenal, starring Mammootty, directed by Fasil, which was remade in 5 languages. In Hindi it was called Hatya with Govinda in it. In Tamil it was Pooviri Vasile with Satyaraj in it. And I think all of them were hits. it had a unique feature of Babu Antony in that film, who was playing a villain. He played the role in all the 5 languages. So that was a unique feature of that film. But in the early days, there were lesser Malayalam films being remade, because I'll tell you the reason for that is because our films are basically very rooted in our culture. Nammada Malayalam culturelum, bhashayilum, it is more about the people of particular region, their food habits, the way they talk. These things are very, very, very strong elements in a Malayalam film. Even in our mass mainstream commercial films also, our films are very rooted. Like even with Narasimham is very rooted in a Malayalam culture, in a Kerala culture. So which is why many of our films are not really remake worthy because they are hard to remake. You cannot remake many of the Malayalam films that has come out in the past. Things are changing. We'll come to that. But over the years, while other film industries like Telugu has had a huge market in Hindi in terms of remakes, the whole, there's I think the late 80s and 90s where Jitendra had churned out so many films, from Himmatwala and Mawali to Maqsad and many films like that, Tofa. They used to be very successfully remade many Telugu films into Hindi. Tamililum ഒരുപാട് അങ്ങനെ പടങ്ങൾ റീമേക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. But largely Tamil broke out with people like into the mainstream with people like Maniratnam, Shankar, ഇവരൊക്കെ, because Telugu and Tamil still has a culture of films which are massy mainstream entertainment, which can be relatable to an audience in any part of the country, which is why if you see 80% of the films that you will see, dubbed films that you will see on television in Star Gold or any of those channels, Sony Max and all, are these Tamil and Telugu masala films, and they are very entertaining. I mean, there is no doubt about that. Compared to that, Malayali audience I have seen is not that keen to, they prefer masala films to watch masala films from other languages like Tamil or Telugu or Hindi, but they prefer their own films to be more rooted. Idana enda kaalchapada. I find they are more interested, they having their own Malayalam films to be more relatable in terms of the characters, in terms of landscape, in terms of culture and everything. They are not that comfortable with a massy entertainer in the standard sense. That is why like I told you, even the most massiest of Malayalam films, you find that rootedness still there, and over the years, even now, nammal nokkanengil, except for Mohanlal, who is the only person allowed to make these massy films, baki everybody else are doing films which are different in a more region specific item, കുറച്ചും കൂടി culturally ഇതായിട്ടുള്ള പടങ്ങളാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So that is why I think, and then those films are very hard to remake. I mean, you cannot remake Kumblangi Nights or Angamali Diaries or Jallikattu for that matter. Any of these movies, I mean, Thondi Mudal Diraksham, because these are so rooted in our culture. The way the people speak, the kind of food they eat, everything about them is so rooted that to make them in Hindi is not an easy task. You have to make the same thing rooted in a North Indian culture. But that's a lot of hard work. So then why buy rights? That's why I think mostly people prefer to, and you don't even know whether these movies will work on a mainstream level, because mainstream audience in Hindi is very different from a regional audience. Like I keep hearing questions about why don't Hindi cinema make the kind of films that Malayalam makes. The reason is Hindi is a pan India audience. Hindi cinema. ഒരു അലഹബാദിലിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു റിക്ഷക്കാരനും ബോംബെയിലിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ബാങ്ക് എംപ്ലോയിയും ഹൈദരാബാദിലിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ എംപ്ലോയിയും പഞ്ചാബിലേക്കാണ് ഒരു ഫാർമറും ലണ്ടനിലേക്കാണ് NRIയും എല്ലാവർക്കും റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന പടങ്ങളാണ് ഇവരുണ്ടാക്കുന്നത്. ബേസിക്കലി ദ ഐഡിയ ഇസ് ദാറ്റ് യു ഹാവ് ടു മേക്ക് ഫിൽംസ് which they all can reach out to all these people at the same time. It's catering to all these people. It is not to one particular state, which is why a lot of Hindi films are not very rooted in any geographic sense. They are more broad in their geography and culture of India. Though there's been phases like there's been a lot of Punjabi films and Punjabi culture in Hindi films, but largely നമ്മുടെ Hindi പടങ്ങൾ have been devoid of any specific cultural identity. That's the reason. I mean, Pandada, it was completely not there. I mean, if you watch Amitabh Bachchan's old film, there is nothing cultural about, nothing like a culture specific thing. It is basically a pan-India. Anybody anywhere in India can watch and enjoy those movies. Today we have become much more conscious because I think of internet and because of a lot of other mediums. People are more aware of how a different state is and how people live there and all those things. And also a lot more filmmakers are coming in from various parts of the country. I mean, like I said, Bengali filmmakers, there are a lot of Bengalis who make Hindi films, a lot of people from the Delhi UP belt who makes films. So they are now making films which are more closer to their upbringing. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ we find a lot of films which is set in the UP belt, or you find films which is set in Calcutta and Bengal and all those things. So because they relate to those films. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് even like that is why I think even when a Malayali gets a chance, he will do the same thing. Like we did that with Airlift. We had a Malayali character in that called George, and we did that in Chef because the director was a Malayali. One of the writers was a Malayali, so we did those kind of stuff, and it's always nice to. And now I think also because Malayalam in the old days, for a non South Indian, എല്ലാ സൗത്ത് ഇന്ത്യൻസും മദ്രാസി ആയിരുന്നു. അവർക്ക് അത്രേ അറിയുള്ളൂ. സൗത്ത് ഇന്ത്യൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മദ്രാസി, അവൻ കാപ്പി കുടിക്കും, തൈര് സാദം കഴിക്കും. ഇതാണ് എല്ലാവരുടെയും വിചാരം. അത് they don't even know that there's a difference between the way people live, eat, drink, everything in all these different South Indian states. അവർക്കു അറിയില്ല. പക്ഷെ today that has changed. Now they know. They are aware of people. They know who's a Malayali. They know who's a Tamilian, who's a Kannadiga, who's an Andhraite. They know these people. Now they understand the difference between these people. Now of course the Northeast has the same problem because everybody treats Northeast as one whole chunk. Slowly I think that will also dissolve, and we'll all start accepting and understanding the culture better with more filmmakers and cinema coming in from that part of the country. Adondana basically. And also one of the greatest innovations that has happened is the OTT culture. OTT karanam ipo films in any language, any part of India can find an audience across the world. Like I was surprised. Drishyam 2 has been watched by so many non-Malayalis in Bombay that I know of, that I'm surprised. I was surprised when they told me that they've seen Drishyam and how much they like Drishyam 2. So this is a great thing now. I mean, we don't even need remakes anymore. We can just have a original film out there and people will watch it, read the subtitles, and they'll start enjoying it. So it's a great thing. I mean, something like a Great Indian Kitchen, which came on a new platform like Newstream, became a talking point. People have watched the Great Indian Kitchen, and across India, across India, people have seen it. People know about it. So it's a great thing to have these kind of movies. Now, one more thing that has come to my attention is that, like I said, people ask me why don't Hindi films ever. Hindi films are not. Why don't they make in Hindi the kind of films that they made in Malayalam and all those things? Because it's very different. I mean, you cannot. Like I told you, you cannot make a Angamali Diaries or Kumblagi Nights in Hindi. You cannot make that in Hindi. And also, today, even now, I think there are lessons that Malayalam cinema can teach Hindi industry in presently, because there's a lot of thing evolved in Malayalam cinema. Innippo Malayalam cinema il oru kadada avashyamilla. They can make a film about an incident. and make that whole film so gripping that there is no real wholesome story in it. It is basically one incident that is out there, like you saw in Jallikattu, or even for that matter, something like The Great Indian Kitchen, where for the first 1 hour you are just with that woman in the kitchen. You are there, you are seeing her cooking, and you are seeing her toiling away in the kitchen, and you feel part of her struggle and a part of her frustration. You feel the whole thing. It is hard to now make that in a Hindi audience. I don't know, because whether Hindi audience is ready for something like that. Maybe when these kind of movies happen more and more, there will be more Hindi films which will probably start adapting that kind of stories. Like even today, the what do you call that, hyperlink stories, like Traffic, or those are very popular in South, or Super Deluxe for that matter. But it is still a very still not that popular in Hindi cinema. I think it is still not been as widely used to tell stories in a Hindi cinema. In South, especially Tamil and Malayalam, there are many films which are multiple stories, and these hyperlink stories happening. Hindi, that is, you find that much lesser, because the audience is still, you still are trying to cater to as much audience as possible, and people react differently to cinema. Like I had once been to Delhi, and because some people love films with songs. They want the songs. They go to see a cinema because of songs, and there's people who hate songs. They don't want to see the songs. So I love songs. I basically enjoy watching. I think what is Hindi cinema without songs? Because today it is hard to imagine what would our weddings and our social functions and gatherings would be if there were no Hindi film songs. Those are the ones. Even festivals. Those Hindi film songs are what that makes those festivals so much more enjoyable, joyful. But I remember once in Delhi, one driver who was driving me around told me a very made a statement saying, "Sir, आप कहानी कुछ भी हो, लेकिन गाने बढ़िया होना चाहिए." So that was his criteria. He doesn't mind what a story you make. He doesn't have to have logic or anything, but give us great songs. Songs. That's what his thought. So he goes to the cinema to have a very different experience of entertainment from what probably in somebody in Kerala will or Bengal will have. So that's what. So it's a very different thing. Some people think it is easy to make mainstream cinema. It's not. It's very difficult. You think that a film that is purely running on masala is easy to make and write and all. Try doing that. I mean, it's an industry that comes out with 200, 300 films in a year. There are only 10, 12 that actually even come anywhere close to 100 crores, So it's not an easy task. So these are the things that I have understood about the industries, about Malayalam and Hindi, for that matter. My own career officially started with Jhankar Beats, where I wrote some dialogues. But before Jhankar Beats happened, I was involved with one of the films that was a remake and was a big hit in Hindi. It was called Hera Fairy. Hera Fairy was a remake of Ramji Rao Speaking. Adin somebody who was a mutual friend of mine and Priyadarshan and Neeraj Vora had approached me to saying that, can you make this film's dialogues in Hindi so that Neeraj Vora can work on a script for a Hindi script. So I had done the entire script of translated the entire script of Ramji Rao Speaking in Hindi with the help of my wife, so that they could make Hera Fairy. And I had done this, and those was uncredited work of mine. I mean, I did 3 or 4 such movies for Priyan, where I didn't have any credit. I was just doing it for the fun of it. It was great fun. I just wanted to be part of cinema, kind of thing. I still had no idea that I become a part of the film industry at that point of time. But Priyan is one of those people who broke out from Malayalam into Hindi through these comedy films. Because comedy is one subject which has no language barrier. If you can make a comedy it can click anywhere. You know, it can, if people can laugh, people across the world laugh at the same jokes most of the times. So that was one thing, you know. But then Priyadarshan was one of those early directors from Kerala who actually managed to break that barrier. I think over the years, namukku new filmmakers and now who will come and make films in Hindi, and hopefully now remakes may not be even required in the future if we have things like OTT platforms, you know. It'd be great. I mean, you don't like you now Drishyam 2. I don't know whether they need to do a remake of Drishyam 2 because I think the whole world would have seen by the time Drishyam 2 by the time they do a Hindi remake of Drishyam 2. This lockdown actually has been a experience for a lot of people in good and bad ways. There have been many lessons, and there are many things that are going to change in the way we watch films. One thing that we all missed was going to a theater and enjoying a cinema, like you know, like it's a great outing. It is one of the things that you look forward to on a weekend, to go to a cinema, eat popcorn and watch a big screen entertainment, you know. അത് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. I'm hoping that in the near future that comes back and we'll be able to watch films back in theaters. As much as, you know, I hope there are even greater films that comes on OTT. So we have a mix of, you know, the best of both on OTT and theaters, you know, which will be great. So I'm hoping for the best in the years to come for entertainment, for the audience, for all of you. So nice talking to you. Thank you.